A very good morning to you, dear listener, and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio, 95.5 Star FM, Makudi. We sincerely apologize for starting behind schedule. It is due to circumstances beyond our immediate control. Kindly bear with us. And now that we are here, our edition of Perspectives today focuses on the review of the Benue State Government's action plan for durable solutions for internally displaced persons, IDPs, in the state. Last week, the government of Benue State launched what it referred to as Action Plan for Durable Solutions for IDPs. What does this entail? What is the durable solution that can be found to the situation of the IDPs challenge in the state? How will the government work towards implementing the durable solutions, and how can the public get a proper understanding of this subject matter? This is what we shall discuss on this program today. And we have been joined by one of the panelists who is already seated in the studio. He's a public affairs commentator and a concerned Benue citizen who will give us his thoughts on this subject, Mr. Nathaniel Pila. Welcome to Perspectives, Mr. Pila.
Thank you very much.
We are also expecting the co-chair of the Committee for Implementation of the Durable Solutions for IDPs in the state, who is also the Director General of Benue State Peace and Reconciliation Commission, Mrs. Josephine Habba. Earlier on, we had the commitment of the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, who was to also join on this program, but he has just confirmed that he is unavailable to feature on this engagement today. So this is the efforts we have made. And at 10 o'clock, usually we allow you, the listener, to contribute on this program. So we believe that we'll do justice to this together. We are expecting the co-chair, soon as she's here with us in the studio, we'll let you know. But for now, we'll begin the conversation, hoping she joins us. Let me begin, Mr. Pila. When the news of this durable solutions came up, an action plan which the government said it has launched for durable solutions to the IDPs problem in the state. How do you receive the news as a concerned Benue citizen?
I was happy. I at least for once, in close to 2 years of the Governor Alia's administration, the IDPs are being attended to. On the face value, I was very happy and excited about the program.
All right. Now, the challenge of IDPs in the state is what almost every Benue person feel concerned about. Are you of the opinion that the government is giving attention to this challenge, and to what extent would this durable solutions action plan work towards addressing the challenge?
Let me start this way. I want to thank the Benue State Governor, His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Yomam Alia, for this action plan. I commend him because if looking at the breakdown of the program, I am happy that from what he told us, they are going to have at least 210 farmers cooperatives across all camps in the state. This will benefit over 4,200 IDPs. They are going to be trained in rice, maize, cassava, vegetable farming, covering all stages of production. That's a very lovely plan. But then there are very critical questions, very serious questions unanswered. Unfortunately, this plan has not provided answers for into office. The governor promised that he was going to return the IDPs to their ancestral homes in his first 100 days in office. He also told us that algorithms for security situation were very simple. And so you just needed to activate them, and then you were going to have security issues fixed. And so it is a bit surprising, and I must say I am worried that close to 2 years we are now having an action plan that says IDPs will be returned into their ancestral homes in 5 years. I know that this government was elected for a 4-year term, only 4 years, and the plan is 5 years. I agree that government is a continuum, and so whatever is the term of years does not matter. But having set himself timelines for the return of IDPs before coming into office, one would expect that an aggressive plan to return these people within the first 100 days, as he promised, would have been of priority. We didn't see that. At least in the first 100 days, no mention was made of the IDPs. In the first 1 year, no mention was made of IDPs. They were left wallowing in pain and penury. And close to 2 years, we are having an action plan that is going to return the IDPs in 5 years. I am also worried that if you look at the plan, they are talking about return, integration, and resettlement. Return, I should believe, is return to their ancestral homes. Integration, who are we integrating with? As we speak, more than 8 local governments in Benue State are ungovernable because the Fulani herdsmen have taken over these places. We go to Kunde, you will see what's happening there in parts of Kum, in Loko, in Guma. In Makudi where we are sitting, in West, in Agatu, and several other places. The Fulani herdsmen have taken over these places. The ancestral owners of these lands have been displaced. And so you are now talking about returning these people in 5 years. And you're talking about integration. Who are they integrating with? This is their own land. I do not think that they should be integrating with any other person who is not a true indigene of those places. And so that's my worry. Resettlement, fine. What is the plan for resettlement? So the plan, as beautiful as it is, has a lot of unanswered questions. And until answers are provided for this, I think I am not too excited with the program.
All right. We have now been joined in the studio by one of our lead panelists on the program, who is the co-chair of the implementation of the durable solutions for IDPs in Benue State. She is the Director General, Benue State Peace and Reconciliation Commission, Mrs. Josephine Habba. Welcome to the studio. Thank you for joining us, madam.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Now, you are just joining us, and of course, we just started. We had waited, hoping you would join us. Now, now that you are here with us, give us insights into what prompted the Benue State government to launch what is referred to as Action Plan for Durable Solutions for IDPs in Benue.
I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. Like I said earlier, apologize for coming in a bit late. First, I need to say that every part of the world have got a coordination, have got areas of coordination.
Yes.
And so the United Nations Secretary General, on his assumption of office, began to look at the issues of IDPs and in identifying how long an IDP should be in camp and what we call IDPs today, he saw that there was a challenge across the world, that there was protracted stay on camp, calling people internal displaced persons. So he looked at the humanitarian interventions that have been going on for so many years and then triangulated it with the costs that goes out for assistance. And it meant that so much was going out in terms of assistance across, and I'm talking about the world. And we realized that, it was realized that so much is going in, but not so much of the lives of the people are being changed because they're giving them food, giving them handouts, and not so much was changing because they were not in the comforts of their zones. And so he declared the durable solution. The durable solution was declared for 15 states of the world. I mean, states now in countries. And we are so grateful that Nigeria is the first state that adapted and began to work. Other states have taken up, but Nigeria is the first state to have developed the plans for durable solution. Now, what is durable solution? Run to places that are safer, and they will need to return. And you know that there's no conflict that has come without destruction. Every armed conflict comes with destruction. And because that happens, people need to come back to their places or go to locations which they choose. It's not everybody that came from their homes that want to go back to their homes. That's not true. And thanks since that began to establish camp in Benue, Benue as a state. So I can talk about who IDPs are, where they are, and what they feel like. I may not be in their shoes, but I have a bit to understand how they do. So I'm talking based on that standard. So durable solution comes in to say, look, guys, you have stayed in the camp for so long. Your places, many of your places may not be so safe, which government is working on trying to get them safe. But anyone who says, I don't want to go back home, I want to live here and go to Lagos, for instance. I found something better. I think life will be better in Lagos. This state has a responsibility to support you to go to Lagos and look after what you do, what you choose to do. Who you settle in, integrate percent of the people in camps. 95%, if you take a statistics, wants to go back to their ancestral homes. What are they going back to? Their houses were destroyed. Schools were destroyed. Hospitals were destroyed. So much had come down. Now, are they just going to go back to those homes? Reverend Father Hyacinth earlier came to government and declared that he will return the IDPs in 100 days. This is the statement he made, and I don't think he took that back. I think he began to do what is going to take them back in 100 days. But he realized that you do not, when Jesus said he was going to build the house, break down the temple and build in 3 days, he was going to die and rise again. So it may not be in the literal terms of you leaving and going back to your village in 100 days. Every normal human being knows that that was impossible for Benue, because at that time, those who were fighting, those who were destroying were still at those locations. And all you needed to do was begin to dialogue, begin to mediate, and begin to bring about peace building and education for peaceful coexistence to enable them go back and not to have another crisis. So you needed to systematically do that. So the 100 days came out with a plan. And if you look at the plan of the 100 days, you will see that on that plan was, I think third on that plan was the fact that we needed to have peaceful coexistence. Like the first agenda of the governor is for security and peace. On the third of the plan, of the
entirely on the agenda of the government or the governor, but will focus purely on the durable solutions. Having established the background on what the durable solution is, but because you reflected on what the government sought to achieve, particularly as it concerns the IDPs in 100 days projected.
IDPs in a camp is not a local engagement discussion. It is a standard operation that has to do with international standards, which you can be taken to the international court if you violate. So if the governor came in and made that declaration, he was also advised that you needed to do this by the international standards, which meant that you cannot force people to go back when they do not want to go back. You can only ask people to go back if you have their communities ready, and also get them to accept, if they accept that they are comfortable to go back. At that point, there was no comfort to go back. Their houses were not in the place to go back. The durable solution seeks to build houses, to build schools, to build hospitals, to build infrastructures of roads back to the communities where people want to relocate back to. And so the plan that is put together today is responding to his 100 days agenda.
Okay. Maybe responding to beyond the 100 days.
No, the 100 days was a plan.
Okay.
It was a delivery of a plan,
no,
which actualization is going beyond the 100 days.
Maybe we should not target a plan. We should target a campaign promise, as it were.
No. I don't agree with that.
Anyway.
The campaign promise was on the manifesto.
Okay.
The 100 days was a plan.
But
what am I going to do? What will I deliver in 100 days?
But there again, I ask, deliver in 100 days. It was not delivered, was it?
What was not delivered was relocation, which I've explained, that had international codes of operations. And it was not delivered because the realization of the international implication to save the name of the state was the reason why human beings did not go back as spelled out at that moment. But as I speak with you, don't we know that people are going back to their villages, if we are honest?
It's okay. We'll get to hear from the audience, and of course, maybe you, as we go along, we'll get to hear from you some of such places within the state where people have gone back. But Mr. Pila, let me have your thoughts. Your co-panelists stated that the government's plan of 100 days is what has given birth to the durable solution. 100 days concerning the resettlement of the IDPs is what has given birth to the durable solutions plan. How do you react to that as a concerned Benue citizen?
Well, if I heard her correctly, she has contradicted herself, because durable solutions from her explanation is not a plan that is emanating from Benue state government, from the Benue state government. It is an international plan
of the UN.
Yeah, by UN. By UN.
Yes.
And so Nigeria is only adapting the plan from UN and domesticating it. And so if we say that on the one hand, 100 days, meanwhile the government is close to 2 years in office, and waited until when the United Nations has launched a durable plan, and Nigeria as a state has domesticated this plan before bringing it down to Benue, that's a contradiction. It is not within, as at the time they were campaigning, they told us 100 days. 100 days we understood literally, because that was what was said on every podium that the governor, the now governor, then a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, mounted. He told us categorically that in his first 100 days, he was going to return internally displaced persons back to their ancestral homes. But there are very serious issues which I want us to look at. We are talking about coexistence. Coexistence with who? Benue State government, as I know, has a law that prohibits open grazing of livestock. Is that law still being implemented? Is it still enforced? That's number one question. Meanwhile, the communities that people have been sacked are still, in fact, some communities are still under attack as we speak. On Christmas Day, a community in Kunde, I think close to Nyihumba, was attacked, and over 50 persons were killed. Only yesterday, the place was attacked again. Some of the buildings that were left were razed down completely as at yesterday. It means nobody is living there. They are getting close to Jatoka as we speak. And so if you say that you're going to return people, when the herders are still wielding their AK-47 rifles, they're wielding their assault rifles, killing at will. They kill 50 people, they kill 20, they kill 30. It's all over the state. It's not just in one location. And so to say that people are going back to their places with the greatest respect is I don't want the situation in this, about training these people. It's maize production. The man who has AK-47, who has cattle, that is not ready to ranch them. I am a farmer. I plant my yam or cassava or rice or whatever. The man who is a Fulani herder brings in his herds to overrun my farm, and I cannot talk because if I have a stick or a cutlass, the man carries AK-47. He has not been disarmed. And so how do we begin to coexist? Go to Guma in Akko, for instance. You take permission before you even go to your farm. And only last month, a young man who owns a provision store in that place, it's a local market called Akko, somewhere close to the border with Nasarawa State. These guys came and kidnapped this young man. They took him into the forest, demanded for ransom. Ransom was paid, yet they secured him. It's happening here in Benue. It's here. And so I am wondering how we are going to reception these people, how we are going to coexist with the Fulani head.
Just anybody at all.
Okay.
So for purpose of this program, let's stick with armed headers. So we are not saying as we're targeting a particular people.
It's okay.
In any case, your thoughts are noted. Now, let me interrupt you briefly and come to Mrs. Habba. Walk us basically into what are the primary objectives of this action plan and how it is intended to be implemented with regards to resettling the IDPs in the state.
Thank you very much once again. The plan, Durable Solution, is meant to, with dignity, return IDPs who want to return, ensure that IDPs who do not want to return and resettle in different locations, provide support for them, which is owing from livelihood to education to, you just name it, whatever their choices may be for this support. And when you talk about return, like I said earlier, you are looking at where are they returning to. You are looking at the infrastructures that they need to return, the markets that we need to rebuild. And when you talk about integration, it is not everybody that is in Makurdi today that is from Makurdi local government. Now, when you leave maybe Agatu because of the conflict and you come into Makurdi and you are an IDP or you want to come to Makurdi, since you were displaced, you've been living in Makurdi and you are identified as an IDP. Now, you don't want to return. You need to be reintegrated. And your reintegration is not with a stranger. Your reintegration is also with your community members who perhaps were not in the same location. When you live, maybe you live, let's take an example of Makurdi and Kpeyongo. If you live in Makurdi to go and stay in Kpeyongo, it's not your local government, it's not Makurdi local government anymore. Now you need to reintegrate with the Makurdi local government, the Kpeyongo local government people, because you were living there. But because of the conflict that happened there, you came into Makurdi. Now you are going back. You need to be reintegrated into that community. So there's a couple of those actions that needs to be taken. And let me correct a notion.
Yes.
When you give me something and I refuse to take, that thing will not be mine. So it is not a UN government intervention that is trickled down to Benue. There are 15 countries of the world that were introduced to Durable Solution. Nigeria happened to be one of those states. What Nigeria has done is the proactiveness of going into developed plans for Borno, in the core conflict areas, for Borno, for Yobe, for Taraba, and Benue. These plans were launched in Abuja sometime last year. We were not ready with the plans, and so we had to come back and do more consultations to enable us talk to our people, the IDPs themselves, and ensure that our plan was a plan that was owned by the IDPs. Because many times it's an assumption of we know what they want, we plan for them. And this dialogue is not going to be with only the people that are internally displaced in the camps. We also need to have conversations even with the people who are in the communities already, because there are people who, not everybody fled. So we needed to go back and also dialogue, because people had farmlands down that if they had opportunity to farm, even where people fled and they were remaining, that they were not theirs, they will farm them. So we needed to do dialogue and mediation to enable us build conflict, build peace, and get confidence of the people enough to return, to have them return back to their communities. And this work is so going. If I need to mention to you locations, I will do that. Let me go as far as Agatu. In Agatu today, because of the fact that the government is established, is implementing the Peace Commission activities, and you know that I'm Director General of Benue Commission for Peace and Reconciliation, and I'm talking from the point of view of my office. I have had several engagements of dialogue and several engagements of peace engagement at local communities where we have engaged not only Benue, but we have engaged Benue, Kogi, and Nasarawa on that axis of Agatu to ensure that we don't have temporary returns of the people back to their communities. So we have reached several agreements where in Agatu, for instance, you have the right to call, and I hope Agatu community is hearing us, and they will either dispute or agree that several of the locations that were sacked for years, people have returned to those communities. In Gwe West, for instance, in the hinterlands of Gwe West, people are returning and even asking others to come and help them rebuild their houses, where the durable solution is now going to be the one to come in and help them rebuild maybe better houses. This is why the launch. You heard the RC, the resident coordinator, when he came. Benue State Action Plan is one of the best out of the 4 that have been developed. This is because it had huge consultation, and we were able to pull in the thoughts and the desires of those who should be at the center of this durable solution implementation, which are the IDPs.
All right. Now, quickly, the plan based on what of it, but unfortunately I couldn't. Maybe it's not available online. I couldn't find myself a hard copy. But it is said that it's a 5-year action plan. So during this intervening 5 years, are the camps going to remain with the IDPs there, and how will they cope during this time?
No, that is the thing also that I needed to correct.
Yes.
Return of IDP is already happening. Now, we are just building resilience and looking at the simple levels of coexistence, peaceful coexistence. Those that have been able to, you heard IDP say we've gone back to farm last year and we got yields. So this is already going on. It's a systematic movement. IDPs cannot remain in the camp for 5 years. What would they be doing in the camp for 5 years? People are already moving. Now, when structures are built, let me give you an example. We used to have small camps, not small, but multiple camps in Makurdi. Today, there is what is called a mega camp. It's a temporal arrangement for these people to come into a place that they will be better looked at. Instead of the mosquito nets that they were living in, now they have structures that are better than those mosquito nets. They are not, what these people want yet or what they should be staying in yet, but it's an intention to say, look, when you are here, we can give you water, we give you light, you will be better looked at security-wise, and so we're moving them into mega camps in preparation for data that can now begin to say, okay, at this zone ready, we have zones going to be built without you. The houses are meant, whoever is building these houses, there is what you call cash for work. So the IDP is part of the livelihoods that they are going to be building. Is also that they can be those who have the skills that can be deployed to do this work themselves will be engaged to be able to work as cash for work. They get this money and also build better, sharpen more their skills in the work that they are doing to build their house. The houses are compensation, for God's sake.
All right, but maybe I still want to get you correctly, and maybe for the purpose of the audience. So for these 5 years, which is the intended to be the action
it's a plan.
It's a plan. So during this time, are the IDP camps going to be closed?
They are only going to be closed when...
How many of such mega camps, which, as you mentioned, how
already
many
we have one in Makurdi.
Okay.
And we are intending to go to Logo to have another one. And because the Zone C actually do not like to go into camps, we may not have one there. But if they accept, there will be another one there. There will be mega camps in different places where you can move them in and ensure that their livelihood, their preparation to move in to their own homes, closer to their location. For instance, in Makurdi, we have moved people from all the smaller pieces in North Bank, federal housing, and the one that is in the market in North Bank. They have been all moved and collapsed into one camp. And this is a plan to see how you sit together, how you are together, and how we agree together, rather than moving from one camp to the other, that interventions come to you quickly. and you are looked after better, then preparing you to move into the permanent place where you need to go to. And even if you don't want to stay in Makurdi, you can go anywhere.
All right. Okay, Mr. Pila. Now, from her insight, the 5-year plan is intended to move people, first of all, to mega camps before relocating them eventually to their ancestral homes.
I'm sorry. That plan is not to move people to mega camps.
Okay.
It's to move them to their ancestral homes where they want to go back to. But I'm saying in the preparation,
people are moved to mega camps.
Oh, yes.
So
it's not part of the plan.
Okay,
the plan is a document. So that is not part of it.
Okay, so how durable is that solution to the plight of the IDPs, as explained by her, Mr. Pila?
Before I answer that question, let me say something. I am always worried when I hear people say conflict. What is happening in Benue, to the best of my knowledge, is attack. These people come in unprovoked. They attack helpless and armless farmers, kill, maim, and destroy, and take over these places. Benue has been annexed. In so many of those local governments, Benue is occupied by the killers. And so what is happening is not really conflict. If I want to define conflict in the reasons of it, is unprovoked attacks. Having said that, I think that from the plan, I've always said it and I want to repeat, it's a good plan. Without being an IDP, this training would have helped these people. But now that they are IDPs, the training will help them. It's a good plan. But the durability, I cannot guarantee. I don't see the plan being durable, because you are talking about taking these people back to their ancestral homes. Meanwhile, these places are still being occupied by the killers. Without first, fresh attacks were killed. In whom is not addressed. We must address the causes first. What I'm seeing, I think from what I've seen, what we are doing is we are addressing the symptoms rather than the causes, getting to the root of it. And then when you say other people might not want to go back to their ancestral homes, so they will be settled wherever they want to settle, that's very fine. But if we want to expand on this statement, it may appear that in some respect, we have considered our land to certain people. And so we want to find a way to convince these people who are living in camps to settle elsewhere. Because if you don't make efforts to push the people who are occupying forcefully the ancestral lands of these IDPs, and then you are telling them to resettle somewhere else, it does looks like a kind of narrative. I'm seriously worried.
All right. Now, Mrs. Habba, does this action plan, durable solutions for the IDPs, also factor in ensuring the security of the ancestral places of these IDPs before relocating them?
I laugh because we all live in Benue. Even if we're not in Benue, we're Benue people. We all can see the effort of the security that is in place, the security, the homeland security, the internal security, and even the external security that has been provided. We were all here and covered when the governor went out to launch a huge and massive security outfit that was a local security outfit for the state. What were they meant to do? Are they not meant to secure these locations we're talking about?
Yeah.
We have partnership with other security agencies. I said here, and I'm reiterating myself, it is not, nowhere in the world has the boots been able to claim back any peace in the world. The boots are meant to go and cease fire. And what this administration is doing is what returns peace. So whether we like it or not, we need to engage with peaceful conversations. We need to engage with dialogue and mediation to enable us get the buy-in of every two communities or two persons living even in one house to be able to live together.
All right.
And we are not asking strangers.
Apologies to interrupt you, please. Mm-hmm. But like you mentioned, he also expressed his worry that these are basically attacks. if you talk about mediation and dialogue, is the mediation going to take place among residents of the state who are being attacked, or they are going to mediate and dialogue with who in this context?
So how do you mediate with one person who is fighting, who somebody else is fighting? You
Yeah,
mediate
which
with
is
the
why I
two
want to
persons.
which is why I want
You
to
mediate with, and this is,
Yes.
I mean, it's being public. You can Google it and see, as Director General Benue Commission for Peace, where and how many meetings I've had with the other group, which every time we bring in the fore that they are the criminals. We have criminals on both sides. This knowledge I got now that I am doing this work here now. We have not, nobody comes to your house and knows where you keep your car keys, if not being informed. So I am telling you that these criminals are not on one side. On our side, we also have criminals. On the other side, these guys are criminals. And so we need to discuss the issues of who the criminals are and how we can fish them out and get them to face the wrath of the law. And this is what we're doing. I told you that I went as far as Kogi. I went as far as Nasarawa to ensure that we have meetings with leaderships of the Miatiala, both in Benue and both in Nasarawa. And this is what gave birth to the withdrawal of the headers that are in the areas of Agatu, where people have returned to. This is the same thing that is going on in Banjiba, in Guma local government. There are committees. We're not dialoguing with one person. There are committees that have been put in place, both with the Fulanis and the thieves. When it is Idoma, the Fulanis and the Idomas. If it's in Guma, in Logo, the bandits and the people who they come from, because the bandits are also people from that location. If it's Sankra, this is what we're doing. We're bringing both people together and say, look, listen, we need to talk. We need to get this thing out of, this space. We need to secure our communities. We need to become more productive than what we are doing. And then we get people who actually are tired of this whole fighting and killing and all of that. I mean, you cannot tell me that only one person comes and kills the other and leaves. I agree that there are attacks. There are attacks on very, very innocent persons. But the provocation of these attacks has not been addressed, which is the root cause. The root causes of these matters are never addressed. So we are dealing with the root causes now. We don't want to look at it from the periphery. We want to look at it. What provokes the other person to come and attack?
Okay, but let me again interrupt you. The provocation. You are in the field. You may know better. But are there instances where the attacks are provoked, and maybe what factors, so that we can educate our communities to stay away from sources that leads to the provocation for this attack?
The revelations are very, very, very bitter. The revelations are terrible. In most of the cases, our people are the ones who actually sell us out. And I say this on set. They are the ones who sell us out. Because I was in Awe. No, I was in this community, I can't remember on top of my head, meeting with all of these people. And the revelation was so bitter that these guys will point their finger to a reputable person and say, did I not give you this? Did you not collect this from me? Did you not tell me that this thing I'm giving you, you are going to give me this for it? At a point, we had to stop them because it was, you are sitting here. Did you not collect this from me? Did I not give you this? Is it not you who asked me to give you that you were going to give this to me? And when I gave you, you did not go to tell your youth that you gave me this. And so when I came, the youth came. And this is what they did to me. And so this we had to come and attack to also make sure that we pay back on what you have done to us. So I cannot begin to name certain details, but I can tell you that this is not a one-sided coin. It's a two-sided coin. Today I am on the field, and everybody who knows me by this name, Josephine Habba, you know that my antecedent, I have talked like this on the other side. And I'm not talking like this because I'm in an administration today. I am talking like this that if I leave this office today, I will still talk like this because what I know today is what I didn't know before. I was also talking in ignorance in the past. I was thinking that this attack just comes in and this attack happens. It's beyond that. It's more than that to it.
Okay. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio, 95.5 Star FM, Makudi. We are discussing, our discussion this morning is focused on a review of the Benue State government's action plan for durable solutions for internally displaced persons, IDPs, in the state. Because we started behind schedule, we'll still go a bit more, a few more minutes. We'll take some time off. Maybe at 10:15, we'll start engaging with you. In the meantime, the line through which you can reach us is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. That's the line for call. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. That line is also available on WhatsApp. At 10:15, we'll start taking your calls. Mr. Pila, let me have your reaction to what Mrs. Habba mentioned as it concerns the IDPs, sources of provocations, for instance. And she admitted that she herself was speaking from ignorance, maybe in the past. Now, this is the same, maybe using her example, it may be the same ignorance on the part of some persons who previously alleged that past administrations never had reaction to that.
It is very, very unfortunate and sad that we are taking this kind of narrative. You live in your house, someone comes from only God knows, from where only God knows, to attack you. And he is saying you are the one who provoked him. Please, to attack me and you say I provoked you. I'm not sharing boundaries with you. You are not my neighbor in any sense. I do not share anything in common with you. Thousands of kilometers to attack me and you say I provoked you. That's a very dangerous narrative. But that's just on the one hand. There is a law that prohibits open grazing. That's the Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law of Benue State. If that law is to be implemented, before a cow, steps his foot on the soil of Benue State, such a herder who is bringing that cow or the cattle must have secured a land, built his ranches before you bring in your own destiny. And so in the first instance, you are not even supposed to see cattle roaming in the streets of Makudi or grazing openly on any Benue soil, because we have a law that prohibits open grazing. So the issue of provocation will not even come into place at all if that law were to be implemented or is implemented. And so to say that this is provoked is an insult on the sensibilities of our people and those who have been killed, because in Benue, under no circumstance should we be having open grazing. That's number one. So where you have open grazing, it means there is a lapse somewhere. And who's to take the blame? The government, for failing to implement a law which was brought in to curb these attacks. You cannot say that someone who brings his cattle to roam the streets, to graze openly on our farms, is provoked to killing the people. For Christ's sake, how does that make sense to any reasonable human being? There is nothing like that. Criminals are everywhere. Even in the US, even in developed countries, there are criminals. That is agreed. But let us take this systematically. Like I just said, before you bring in your cattle in Benue, you are expected to have established a ranch as it is today. Before you bring in your cattle, because the law provides the stages through which you are to pass, the procedure to obtaining land. Of course, by the provisions of the Land Use Act, all lands belong to the governor within the state, within the territory of a state belong to the governor. And so it is only the governor who can give the land. And so a header who intends to come to Benue should apply to the Benue state government. That's the governor. He is supposed to sign that this thing personally, because land belongs to him. He's using it, he's holding the land in trust for the people, the citizens of his own state. That's the Land Use Act. And so where the governor is approached, he will release land to such an applicant. You are expected to construct your ranch before you bring your cattle. As when you violate this particular procedure, this provision of the law, and you bring in your cat, you ought to have been arrested ab initio without even letting you graze. You ought to have been arrested for bringing your cat. That's a violation of the law, which is enforced in Benue State. And so to say that somebody has been provoked and gave this person money, land belongs to the governor in every state. And that's the provision, like I said. So the narrative we are trying to bring today is very, very unfortunate. It's sad.
All right. Now, Mrs. Habba, in terms of justice, getting justice for the IDPs, this whole plan, durable solutions plan we are talking about, stems from the fact that Benue State has prohibited open grazing. And the resultant is what we have the IDPs in the camp. Is this plan seeking to, part of its strategies, enforce this prohibition on open grazing and get justice for these people who have been displaced, attacked, maybe because, as you alleged, they were provoked? If one is provoked, does the law permit just going out to take laws in your hands to attack people because you are provoked for whatever reason?
Yeah, I thank you very much once again. I want to ask us, and I know it's not only us in the studio, but also those who in Benue, that we have, for instance, at the same time that law was passed, the law that prohibits courtesim in Benue. Is that law? That is not for strangers at all. That's a Benue law.
Anyway,
Just a minute.
I focused on this because it is within the context of the IDPs.
I'm trying to make a statement.
Okay.
Now, if there are other laws in Benue, I just made an example of that one. Now, is it only the herders that have cattle in Benue? That's another question I will ask. If that is not true, if it's not true that it's only herders that have cattle in Benue, does the Benue people have cattle? We have a law that prohibits open grazing, which I agree. I was part of the people who walked that law through. And I am saying, and from day one I have said, a law is good, but the only challenge with the law is whether the people that this law is targeting understand what is in it for them in this law. What have we done about that? That's a story for another day. And as Peace Commission, I'm working towards that, trying to translate the law and all of that. But the issue of justice,
also in the plan, the durable
solution addresses that. I'm just going somewhere.
Okay, yes.
It does address that. There is justice. I mean, prominent member of the Durable Solution Task Force is the Attorney General of the state. He has a whole lot of work on that same plan. So I'm not even going to go into the details of that, but I'm just saying that if we will live by example, can we also practice this law that we have implemented and also proven that we have also approached, gotten land and built ranches and given us an example, living by that example. I am not making excuses for anyone, but I'm only trying to bring to our attention that there are certain things we do that we really will need to think twice about it. When you dialogue, when you you want peace, when you want peaceful coexistence, you are not talking about the things that will get more provocation, but you are trying to see how two people can put down their swords and sit down and think and discuss and come to amicable solutions. And this is what I'm talking about. I am not saying that these attacks are not the attacks, these provocations are provocations that are not done, are not carried up on the innocent person. But I am saying, what is the root cause of these provocations? So I'm giving you examples. Do you actually know the cattle that go out grazing on this land? Do you know? Have you been able to confirm who owns those cattle? And I can tell you that I have been in many meetings with these people we call herders. And one question they ask me is that, Madam, the people who are talking to you, do they tell you where their cattle are? Have they told you who is keeping their cattle? Have they told you if they have ranches? These questions need to be answered. If we also have cattle, where are we keeping them? Where are they grazing openly or not? And we are the same people that give these same people contracts to carry our cattle on the open grazing. The same people who we say we made laws, who we are making laws, we give our cattle out. When they give us cattle, we give it to them to go and graze. And at that point, these people have a justification of bringing their own, in their own language and in their own terms. So why don't we sit down on the table and decide to look at different levels of ranching? In other countries of the world, we don't have one straitjacket way of ranching. And this is what I am working on.
Okay, now let me interrupt you briefly because we are due to start engaging with the listener. If you say the same people who made the laws also have cattle that are grazing openly under the saddle of the herdsman, what is the law doing with regards to arresting, prosecuting these people?
You may need to talk to the security agencies and find out how many arrests are made a week or any open grazing. And I can give you a practical example of 3 days ago. On the way to Bajiba, on the way to this Boko Road, on the way where this cassava something is. Eternal is. Right behind Eternal. You can check. I'm sitting on set and I'm telling you, they had arrested those who had cattle grazing openly there based on the law that is established. Just 3 days ago, they had arrested 4 persons who were openly grazing. And you can check your data, check up with the security agencies and find out how many people are arrested weekly. We would have seen cattle on the main street. Were we not seeing them before the establishment of the law? That they were grazing on top of the quotas, the tar roads. Today, are they there? Because arrests are being made. But my business and my duty is to preach peace.
All right. Okay, let's stay on that. We'll take a short break.
Please.
Just a moment. We're due for course. We'll come back. We'll engage more. Welcome back from that short breather, dear listener. The number through which you can reach us once again is 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we would like to know your full name and where you are calling in from. Then you make your submission. Kindly keep it very brief. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Hello. Oh, we lost connection with that caller already, but the line is still available. We can always engage with you. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning.
Thank
You're speaking with Shima Deno, calling from Modern Market, Macaulay.
Okay, go ahead, Shima.
Yes. To be candid, this problem of herders-farmers clashes, it has a political undertone. There is an agenda by a particular ethnic group. I wouldn't mention the name. As it was alleged by the former governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Otom, I think it has come to the notice of people, the citizens, that what he was saying, there was an iota of truth in it. Because this has been incessant. They have brought up so many structures. They are hell-bent to leave those places and then they will grab some elements among the stakeholders your guest in the house has alluded.
Okay.
I concur to that. I think the government has to be sincere in this. It goes beyond just the government of the day. They have to look for a strategy that would outlast the government of the day. Thank you.
Okay, so the durable solutions plan that the government is working on for the IDPs in line with curtailing this. Okay, Shima. Oh, we lost connection with you, right? Okay. Thank you for your contribution on the program. Hello, good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, I'm Daniel from Nasarawa State.
Daniel who?
Yeah.
Daniel who?
Daniel Teima.
Daniel Teima.
Yeah, from Nasarawa State, Awoloko government.
Okay, go ahead, Teima.
And what I'm trying to say is this. It's a very good program. That Zuma is talking. Where is our village directly? I want to know, is this house a village within the Nasarawa or Benue State?
Daniel, just make your points. There's no, that's not part of the program. We're not interested in that.
What I'm trying to say in essence is this. Not possible that we may say somebody has looked for this people problem. They are after problems present every blessed day. If you are a farmer, can you hear me?
You are on, Daniel. We are hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you are a farmer, can a farm of cassava graze? The farm cannot graze. If you are farming a yam farm, can the yam farm graze? We remain in one place. Your farm will remain in one place. This helps me. We carry that cattle, go and finish everything, the crop you plant. After you plant the crop, they have finished it. And when you go, you, the owner of the farm, you go and ask them, say, when have you done this? They will tell you, say, no, how much am I going to pay you? The whole farm, which you have spent more than 200,000, sometimes they will be giving you 20,000 naira. Say, normally, we are used to graze and do that now. That is how they call it now. You understand? And they usually, definitely, if they offend you, they will pay. And every business. And when you say, no, I'm not after this. After you carry them to the security, they will pay you. After paying you, hello?
Yes, but just conclude your points.
When you took them to the security, after they pay, they will still come and kill you, say you have looked for their trouble. How will you just, a farmer will do that you never look for their trouble? If somebody is saying necessary, they go to look for their trouble. Not possible. In some areas, there's no way they cannot look for their trouble. Their mission is not to to kill and destroy.
Thank you, program. Okay. 0814-335-9292. Let's hear from you. What is your thought about the durable solutions plan for IDPs in Benue as launched by the Benue State government? Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Thank you
Mr.
for
Nathaniel.
joining us. Yes, welcome.
Thank you. This is James Aondowase calling you from Naka.
Thank you, James. Welcome to the program. Make your submission.
Regards to the guest in the house.
Thank you.
I appreciate the program so much. I've been listening to it for the beginning to this point. And I must confess that they are all doing well.
Thank you.
However, I want to correct one thing that the DG of Peace Commissioner said concerning the 100 days. I think she said the 100 days that the governor promised during campaign was not really what I think she said it was a plan. But I want to disagree with her on that. The governor was explicit when he spoke on that. Just a few days ago, I watched one of the interviews he granted before the election, and he was so specific on that. He was so specific of returning all the IDPs in Benue State back to their ancestral homes within his first 100 days in office. That was what the governor said. He even went further and accused the then governor of cashing out on the issue of insecurity in the state and the IDP. So she should not come today and begin to, let me say, change the narrative to something else. That was not what the governor mean at all. So she should not change that narrative. And we as a people, we should always endeavor to pray for our leaders. The issue of insecurity is not something we should be playing politics with. I remember when Otom was governor, this same issue was used. In fact, the government of today, this was the major thing that the government used against the government of Otom to discredit him. This same peace commission, these same agreements that are doing in Agatu today, all those things were done by the Otom administration, and yet they were still criticized. So let's always pray for our leaders. To say it's always easy, but to take action is very tough.
Okay.
So I want to correct her on what she said. Thank you so much, sir.
James, thank you very much. Thank you for your submission. Okay, so the narrative should be consistent and anyway, that's okay. Hello, good morning and welcome to the program. Hello. Welcome to Perspectives.
Hello?
Thank you for joining us.
Hello?
You are on. Speak to us. Okay, so sorry. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. If you are not able to get through to the call line, simply send us an SMS. That line is also available on WhatsApp. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Peter Gabriel calling from OGR, sir.
Okay, Dehile.
Yeah, thank you for this program. I've been waiting for this kind of program, and today is alive. So I thank everybody, and I thank you for bringing this program alive. I will start with our brothers and sisters that are staying in the IDP camp. Yeah, now that we are suffering, we don't have food in Benue. We are the food basket of the nation. Those people that are sleeping in the IDP camps, they are the ones feeding the whole nation. But now they have no place. Just imagine, last week they were coming around house by house in this my area begging for food. That's not right at all. True. I'm telling you the truth. Those people, they are begging for food. But that one aside, okay, now that our government, they are trying to take them back home, it's a good idea. Then how secure are they? How secure are they? That's the question. Because if they say, okay, they should go back and they still go attack them, that's not good distance. We'll still be mourning again. I'm from Mushombo local government area. I've never heard any issue of such from my local government. But I'm touched because we are humans. They are my brothers. Good and fine. One of your guests, she was talking about 100 days office about our governor. I don't like the way she sounds because our governor said, he told us that in his 100 days, he will make sure those IDP camps will go back to their ancestral home. So what's going on? She just wants to change everything, and it's not right at all. Let us call stay for listen, because we have to help ourselves and do the right thing.
Okay.
I know it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Thank you.
It's not easy at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, please, if you call in, try to be brief so we can also engage with others on the program as well. 0814-335-9292. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Sefa Audu.
Sefa Audu, where are you reaching us from?
I'm reaching you from Ayelamo, local government area of Benue.
Okay, go ahead, Sefa.
Yeah. Okay. So my contribution today is this. What this is about provocation on the attacks of herdsmen. It's not for those people they attack is not because of provocation. Where I am staying in Ayelamo, in local government area of Benue State, we cannot go to our farm since the ending of last year to now. We cannot go to our farm. Those people are destroying our farm. If you dare go there, your life will be taken. Everybody within Tombo Council ward or local government staying in Ayelamo town, we have vacated our farmland, our villages. There is nowhere you will go there. The government should take a tour of local government area from maybe this Wukari Road, from Kwata, Sule to Ayini, to that side, then see what is happening. These are the places that food is being produced in Benue State. There is no way people can go to their farm. So those attacks are not because of provocation. I beg her, those people have an agenda, and they are working on that agenda. And if something is not done, those people will collect our land. We will not be able to farm. The people there will have to look for other means of livelihood.
Okay.
So she should stop that narrative of provocation.
Thank you.
Nobody is provoking herdsmen in Benue State before they are attacking.
Thank you, Sefa. We appreciate you. Okay, so that's from Logo Ayilamo, one of the flashpoints. Sefa, he's not in the IDP camp, but as a farmer, we can hear from him exactly
Hello?
what's the situation there. Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
My regard to the
Thank you.
your co-presenter in the studio.
Thank you. Let's know your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I'm Moses and I'm calling from Manu Village in Makodi.
All right.
Thank you for the topic of discussion today. What I will say is that Fulani herdsmen attack on Benue State land. The problem, the past government, that is Otom administration, do its best to settle this issue, but he tried, he do what he can do, but the issue was not settled, and the current government is also trying to at least control the situation. He's trying, but what I will advise is that people are calling and saying some are giving the blame to the past administration, some to the current administration. The issue of herdsmen attacks in Benue State, the federal government know much about it, and I want to assure the listener that federal government is solid behind those attacks in Benue State. Because
Moses,
Sir?
that's an allegation, and how do you prove it?
So I withdraw it.
Okay.
But to say the fact about it is that if federal government join hands with Benue State, the issue of insecurity in Benue State will stop.
Okay.
It started from the federal level down to the state. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Moses. So the Durable Solutions Plan as launched by the government, do you believe it will offer a solution to the challenge of the IDPs the state is grappling with? Oh, Moses is gone. Okay, let's take some messages before we come back. This one says, good day, presenter and guest in the studio. My question is, why the law prohibiting open grazing and ranching find it difficult to be implemented? Why our boundaries are not placed with security to detect those who are illegally entering into our state? Finally, I am appealing to those who have the power and authority to be careful in managing the situation like the farmers' herders conflict, which the immigrants are intending to grab our land. Both federal and state government should design where the herders should be grazing. Nyajo Godwin from Bajiba. Thank you, Nyajo, for your message. Another one here says, good morning, presenter with your guest. Listening to Madam, my simple question for Madam is, how can there be peace without justice for both sides? Because we must avoid taking 2 steps forward and 100 steps backward going forward. Let the Durable Solution Action Plan be 100% localized for our people to have lasting peace. Joe Kennedy from Makodi. Joe Kennedy, thank you. You didn't specify which part of Makodi anyway. This one says, good morning, I get radio. Good morning, the presenter. This is Pius Batsavga from Logo 1 in Makodi. I want to align my submission with the female guest in this house. This herder farmer crisis is a two-way traffic, but I believe that for whatever conditions, these attacks are too many for us. Example, in Kwandi local government as of yesterday, herders were burning down houses that people ran away and left behind, destroying cassava. And if you may ask, what was those people's offense as they even ran for their lives, leaving their houses behind? We need government intervention. Thank you, Pius. This one says, good day to you all. I am Bro Emeka Oji from Welfare Quarters in Makodi. It's been said that when 2 elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. But this means that there are serious political undertone in this discussion. I wish for all hands to be on deck to get all the IDPs back to their respective ancestral homes. Please permit me to plead with our politicians from making impossible promises in their campaigns. Thank you. Mekaoji, thank you for your message. And from our WhatsApp box here, we have a few messages also. This one says, hi, presenter. My name is Emmanuel Bem Atsi from Abuja. It is very unfortunate that our brothers and sisters are still in the IDPs camps. Recall that during campaign, Governor Alia requested for just 100 days to return them to their ancestral homes. And if they are still there till today, then there is no other way to define failure than what has happened. Thank you. Okay, Bemate, thank you for your opinion. And this one says, youth are the seed corn. However, Benue need facilities and security to return the displaced and protect them, and now and in the future. Isaac Utsua from Tejime Ngoma. Isaac, thank you for your message. We appreciate you. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, the presenter.
Thank you.
This is Matthew Nyam from North Bank.
Thank you for joining us, Matthew Nyam.
You are making us great with all your programs.
Thank you, sir.
This issue of powerful or durable plan, I want to appreciate the presenter, the discussant, Mrs. Josephine and Mr. Pila in the house.
Thank you, sir.
But before then, let me also appreciate the commission itself. You have initiated a peace commission or peace committee on this issue. How then the attackers on the innocent people with us still grazing, and then you're initiating peace? These people have killed us and provoked us and are still coming to graze, even passing around the IDPs, so that the people they killed and destabilized them, devastated them emotionally, and then you say you're coming to initiate peace. How do you think the peace will work? Why don't you ask them to go out of the land, since they are together, to stay, if at all people want to stay with us? Otherwise, what the other person was telling us, the coexistence seems to be the powers that be are coexisting with the powers over there to now infringe it on our rights or on our people on our land. If not, if they are talking about coexistence with us that are on this land, the people that fought us and sent us packing out of our ancestral land should go out of this land. How can you be initiating peace with somebody that you have sent out of his house in his absence? He's somewhere, you're on that land, and then somebody say, I'm coming to initiate peace when I'm not able to go to my ancestral. How would that thing hold? Let them go out. By the time peace is done, these people will go out, will go back to their ancestral land, and then if at all they are coming back, let them also come back. But they're there, thinking they have captured us.
Okay.
So I don't think that is very correct.
Thank you, sir. So you believe the durable solutions will find, action plan will find solution, a lasting one to the plight of the IDPs?
Not the way they're thinking. Not the way they're thinking. Because I've been in the system for a very long time. There's some administration says the same thing, or some administration the same thing. If at all they want to do it, let them call these people or call stakeholders and say, these people also made this. This is the method Susam applied. This is the method Otom applied. What do we do? How do we review it? Nothing has been done.
Okay.
So this is still politics over this issue.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you for your opinion. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's pause the course temporarily and come back. And let me begin with you, Pila. Listening to the callers,
Yes.
they told almost the same line.
Yes.
They agree with the durable solutions plan, but they are opposed to the narrative that attacks on people are provoked,
Yes.
and that the systemic issues responsible are not being addressed. How do you react to the submissions they made?
I think that most of the callers have confirmed what I said here on the program. Like the one who called from Kunde, the attacks are still going on. They have confirmed what I said. Because if we're talking about taking people back to their ancestral homes, those attackers should leave. These people are still occupying those lands with their this. And please permit me to address this. We cannot be approbating and reprobating at the same time. At some point, it will appear that we want our people to go back to their ancestral homes, and then in another breath, we are speaking for the attackers. It's a bit confusing. I want to believe that we shouldn't be talking for the attackers. Let these people speak for themselves. But to speak as if we want to defend their actions, like you rightly asked, you have no reason whatsoever to take laws into your hands. If your rights have been infringed, the best thing to do is to report. So even when you say you have rustled cattle, if your cattle is rustled, there is a place to go. The law that prohibits open grazing takes care of all these things. So it is not for you, a header, to take up arms that are prohibited. These firearms they move with are prohibited. And one wonders how they move with them freely without the attention of security agencies. So it is not for you, a header, to take up arms against somebody in the guise of provocation. That's another thing. Secondly, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. The law that prohibits open grazing in Benue was initiated, passed through due procedure of lawmaking. There was public hearing. Public hearings were conducted. Every stakeholder was called to come and air his view. The headers came. And at the end of the passage, they took the Benue State government to court. I remember very well the case went on until it was decided in favor of the state government. So they are very much aware of this law. They have attacked the law in court, and they didn't get the judgment they wanted. And so it is not even about ignorance. They are doing it on purpose. They have made several press releases saying that Benue belongs to them. They are taking over the land. These things, just Google, you can see them. Several of those press releases, they have said Benue belongs to them. I remember Bodejo was, is it the secretary or chairman of Mietiala? He will sit on TV and say this. He has said it openly, that Benue belongs to them. They said they will make Benue ungovernable. These things are on record. And so it is not about ignorance. They are never ignorance. All right. They are not.
Okay.
And
yes, just briefly, just make the concluding points briefly, because we do not have.
If what is happening is not curtailed, we are facing food security, and I'm telling you that not in no distant time there will be no food in the state and Nigeria. You know that once Benue is destabilized, everybody is going. Once Benue sneezes, everybody is going to cut coach.
All right.
In terms of food security.
Now, Mrs. Habba, as part of this durable solutions plan, we saw the governor led the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and maybe the UN people that came. The land was being cleared. What is the intention of that land with regards to the IDPs? Is it where the mega camps will be built, or we saw it along Boko Road? You are the co-chair. Help us understand this.
That is a livelihood provision for the IDPs. It is a land that cooperatives have been formed. In each cooperative, you have 20 IDPs, and 240 of these cooperatives have been formed. Given lands, these lands are 5,000 across Benue. You have 5,000 hectares across Benue. But here in Makudi, where you saw, is 230 hectares of land, where IDPs in their cooperatives can communally farm together the crops that will be short-term. Some crops are long-term, but some are short-term, to enable them make their own money and make their decisions in dignified manner. And let me also say that the truth of the matter is, whether we like it or not, there is no way you can talk to one person. He's not fighting himself. So when two people fight and you come between them, you are talking to two of them. So when I talk about talking peace or engaging in dialogues, and I'm not dialoguing with only those who have been offended or who have been killed. I'm not talking to the dead people. I'm talking to the people who are alive on both camps, on both the fighters and on those who are provoked. I'm talking about these two people. I'm talking about the farmers and the herders. I'm talking about Magbam and Afam. I'm dialoguing between these two. I am very specific. Locations that I have mentioned, the herders had to leave for the owners of those sacked communities to return and continue their life with farming.
Anyway, I may not know whether this is true, but the allegation has been that you listen to the callers. One called in from Ayilamo in Logo that a certain council word, farmers are not able to access their own farmlands.
We're talking about Benue.
Yes,
there is an effort
that
is called Sankara, peacekeeping conversation. Have you heard about it?
I featured that engagement on my program here.
That is the point. So that is
The
also
Sankara
working.
peace
So we
project.
cannot say that in one day the entire Benue will receive the same attention. I'm telling you about specific locations that have already been engaged. This commission is less than 2 years old. And so we cannot tell you that we have gone everywhere. We are telling you about places where we have systematically entered and the things that we have systematically done. And I mentioned Guma local government, in areas where you have peace committees meeting with themselves and taking decisions about themselves and what is the challenges in their community.
You see, part of your position on this program, apart from being DG of the Peace and Reconciliation Commission, you are also the co-chair of the Durable Solutions.
Yes.
Which is why I seem to intend that you will give us more insights. When you mentioned that communities have resettled and you have dialogued with the attackers to give way, is that how the plan intends to be to achieve the target of relocating?
I have told you that there is
IDPs?
Justice for the perpetrators are meant to be brought to justice and to law. They are supposed to face the law. Those who have done mayhem and are identified will face the wrath of the law. And these people, and I tell you, I am asking that you can check that people who have been arrested are taken to court, and they also judgments passed. Those that verdict have been passed are sent to prison.
Okay, let's engage with a few more people, and then we'll try to draw a conclusion to us. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yes. Good morning, the President.
Thank you.
Good morning to the panel of discussion.
Thank you. Just go straight to your name. We do not have the time,
Okay.
so save us the compliments.
Sorry about that. I'm Mr. Emmanuel Habba from the water houses along Glacier Road.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. I want to thank the DG of Peace Commission. She has spoken well. The other man also has spoken well. But I want to say that we are not to talk about what has happened in the course of the disagreement. Peace. We have to go back to the cause, the root cause. That is what the DG is talking about. If we want to talk about who suffer what and who doesn't suffer what, we are not going to attain the peace we are looking for. In Yerwata here, last year there was a heavy, last 2 years now, that was 2023, there was a heavy famine, a hunger in the land because of the problem. But last year when this government came in, the strategy they are adopting help farmers to go to the farm, and of course now they are happy for it. The government may not have the capacity to do it exactly the way we want them to do it. Let them start from somewhere and let us support them with their idea, and let us see how far it will go, because it's better off than the approach the first government adopted.
Okay.
Let us adopt the carrot approach now, instead of the stick approach.
All right.
That was adopted last year.
Let
us use carrot now and see how far we'll go with it.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. We appreciate it. That will be the last call we'll take for want of time. Now, Mr. Pila, going forward, how would these durable solutions be best implemented in a way that we cater for what the government has termed the three-pronged approach of integration, resettlement, and I can't get the other one. Just let's have your thoughts.
I think he captured it very elaborately. This issue has been a prolonged issue. If the government is serious, let us have all stakeholders on deck. Let everybody. Susom is alive or Tom is alive. They are all former governors. They face the same challenges. They to be discussed along party lines. Matthew Nyanda called here. Has been on this issue for a very long time, because he's someone I know personally, and at the point I was with him on the issue. And so if all stakeholders are brought together, I think that it will help us, because there are certain things that some people know that they can't even tell you in the public until you call them to a closed door meeting. And so if we don't call stakeholders together, we might find it very difficult. So that's will be my number one suggestion. Number two, dialogue is good. Everywhere there's dialogue. But where you have killed 50 of my people, the next day you kill 30 somewhere else, the next day 20 somewhere else, and then when you aggregate the people that have been killed in Benue in the last 1 year, there may be more than 500 persons. And we are talking about dialogue. Is that how we're going to continue to die? Is that how we're going to continue to die? And in most of these instances, you don't even see the governor go to see these things to take on-the-spot assessment. Like the one that happened in Yehumba in Kunde. You don't see him there. And the DJ was making reference to having gone through everywhere. There is no place in Benue that I've not been to on this particular issue. The whole of Agatu, I've been to every village in Agatu, from Okokolo to Ayila to all the areas. I have been to every village in Agatu. I've been to every village in Gwe West. I've been to every village in Guma. I've been to every village in Logo. So I know the problem in detail. It's not for me to start saying it here. Bring stakeholders together. Let us profile a solution. Leave politics out of security. I think that will be the way to go.
All right, Mrs. Habba, we do not have time again, but help us understand briefly into the funding for this action plan. We heard the figure was pronounced, I think, 850 something billion to be funding this program over the course of these 5 years. How does the government intend to raise this funding for implementation of the action plan?
It's a state government action plan.
Yes.
Which is soliciting support also. But you clearly heard the governor said 10% of Benue budget is allocated in the implementation, and that is across every sector in Benue. 10% of the state government budget is already allocated for the implementation. So what you saw, the people you saw came in, the high-level profile that came in, is the governor soliciting from them the support to help him through the process of implementing this project that he has designed. And so it is both the state government and development partners and humanitarian partners that are invited, and everyone else, to support the process of implementing this action plan. Okay, so it's a whole collaboration. The only the 10% of the funding is coming from government budget, as you mentioned. Yes. But others will come from funding from 10% of the state government budget. Yes. Is allocated for this process. Is that catered for in this current 2025 budget of the state? Yes. All right. It was catered for before the launching of the document. It's all right. Mr. Pila, we do not have time, but I'll just give you 10 seconds to give your parting words.
Well, I want to sympathize with those who are victims of these unprovoked attacks. I want to pray that God himself should intervene and give us a lasting solution that will see these people go back to their various ancestral homes, and our people will no longer be killed like chicken in their own ancestral lands. And from you, Mrs. Pila, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Habba, I beg your pardon. Don't mind me. I'm so sorry, please. That's okay. Your parting words on this durable action plan for IDPs in the state. Well, for me, durable action plan is the way to go, so that our IDPs who are in the camp will live dignified lives. So everybody invited to come on board to participate in the implementation of this document. And like we all said, not along party lines. We do not think that this discussion of the security and peace of Benue should be along party lines. Let's all be sincere to ensure that our people are put in the place where they're supposed to be. Thank you. And that would be a fine place for us to leave it on today's edition of Perspectives, which we discuss a review of the Benue State Government's action plan for durable solutions for internally displaced persons, IDPs, in the state. I appreciate very sincerely the Director General, Benue State Peace and Reconciliation Commission. She's a co-chair of the Action Plan on Durable Solutions for IDPs, Mrs. Josephine Habba. Thank you very much indeed, Madam, for coming on Perspectives. I appreciate the opportunity. Daniel Pila is a public affairs commentator and a concerned Benue citizen. He also joined us and shared valuable insights. Thank you very much, Mr. Pila. It's always my pleasure. Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us on Wednesday for a fresh edition. I am Nathaniel Nongu. Stay safe and will continue to pray for the security of our dear state and country, Nigeria. Goodbye.